Hello, welcome to yet another Ready and Roll video. Today, we're taking a look at Deadzone, the two-player starter set. That is to say, the first two-player starter set, because there are, in fact, two-player starter sets for this game. This one, which pits the GCPS or the... let me remember this. The global or galactic? I think it's the galactic co-prosperity sphere. And the vermin, yeah, those are the two main ways I've heard pronouncing it. Basically, Starship Troopers versus rat people. So yeah, it looks cool. It's a reasonably chunky box. As you can see, plenty of branding for Deadzone and Mantic, who are the publishers. This is for part of the Warpath universe, which I think recently had a Kickstarter because they are sort of rebooting Warpath as a epic scale miniatures game. Because if you're not aware, Mantic create three main sci-fi games at this point. You've got Deadzone, you have Firefight, and Warpath. Warpath is, like I say, the epic scale version, and Firefight is your mass battles 40k type game. Now, there was a point where Warpath was also a mass battle style game, but they realised we've sort of had two games doing the same thing. It's just that Warpath was sort of, I guess sort of seen as like 40k Apocalypse, if you're familiar with what the Apocalypse game mode for 40k is, where there's a lot more vehicles, a lot bigger vehicles, and then they thought, let's just do it this, but smaller, but big, but smaller. I think, if I remember, part of it came around because Games Workshop had just announced their epic scale game that I can't remember the name off the top of my head. And Mantic were like, hey, this has happened. Is there any interest in us doing this? And people said quite resoundingly, yeah, go for it. And it was a Kickstarter, and a successful Kickstarter at that. But we're not here to talk about Warpath. We're here for Deadzone. So let's very quickly turn the box over to give you an idea of what you get. Lots of minis, some dice, and some terrain. Let's crack this open. It's quite a different experience from 40k in terms of the unboxing. Normally for 40k, as you all have seen if you've ever watched any unboxings for 40k / opened a box yourself, the unboxing experience is all very flashy and interesting. Not to say that this isn't interesting. It's just different. I'm going to have to take this off screen, I think, or alternatively, just fold this top back so I've got something to push against. Come on, there we go. This is so much faff. This is so much more faff than it needs to be. Let's put that there. There we go. And we are just greeted with a plain brown box. Nothing fancy, nothing interesting, but when we do that, we're greeted with this. a shed load of plastic and resin, but mostly plastic, and also MDF. MDF bases for a couple of the units in the game. So yeah, let's very quickly run through what comes in this box. You get some bases. In fact, let's start with the terrain, because I think, at least for me, that's one of the more interesting bits. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, I think that's it, 10 bags of terrain, and 1 bag of these little connectors for the terrain, because it's somewhat modular, which is what interested me about the terrain in the first place. You also get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bags of plastic miniatures, as well as 2 bubble wrap bags of resin miniatures. You also get some dice, D8s. 2, 4, 6, 8 D8s. You get a bag of your command dice. You get some bases. These are Mantix style. I think they're exclusively like Mantix bases. Yeah, manticgames.com. So these are exclusively like Mantic Games bases. So nothing like, weren't made by, say, Renedra or someone like that. MDF bases, more connectors, a loose base, which is interesting. MDF bases I was talking about earlier. You get 2 books. The rulebook and the force lists, which gives you all of the stuff, all the lists for every faction in the game at the publishing of this box. This book doesn't, however, I don't think, include force lists for the Matsudan or the other faction that came out last year over from Kings of War. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. So yeah, you will have to go over to Mantic Games' website for those. But every other faction, obviously, is included in here, and here is your rulebook. So, rulebook is slightly thinner, and the force list is quite chunky, so expect videos on these individually, or if you would prefer them to be the same video, I guess I can do that too. Also get a punch sheet of tokens. I think there's just one. Yeah, it's just one sheet. I can tell because as I push on, that's all good. And it seems I wasn't even trying to start punching them, so they appear to all be really well punched. Whatever machine did the punching for these did a superb job. I'm going to stop doing that before I mix things up. You also get a getting started guide. You also get a 2x2 playmat, which, if you remember my Halo unboxing, is very similar, because Halo is based, or at least the Halo Flashpoint game, is based on Deadzone's rule set, with some slight tweaking and, I don't want to say simplifications, but I think Halo looks to be quite a little bit simpler than Deadzone, but not too much simpler. So yeah, you get your sort of demo tutorial board. So yeah, really useful stuff. Now let's take a look at. Let's take a little bit of a not a full but brief look at the Mantic miniatures. I won't go too heavily into everything, because I want to do videos individually looking at these as I try and get through the bag. They're all individually bagged, which I'm not used to. I assume that's, I guess, for protection. Fucking thing. So you get your GCPS sprue, which is quite nice. I think these make two different types of unit. If we take a quick look at the box. Nope, it's just GCPS soldiers. It doesn't tell you. I guess you can make either or and have 5 of each. I guess I don't need that to be open now. I think it's troopers or rangers. But yeah, either way, not bad. You will notice, I think, that the detail in these is not as crisp as it is in, you know, your standard Games Workshop or Warhammer minis. The detail isn't as sharp. Like, it's by no means bad. Like, these minis are still really quite nice. Like, they'll still paint up perfectly fine. But yeah, they're not quite what you'd expect from Warhammer minis, which I think if you're looking at the price of Mantic miniatures and you're expecting Warhammer detail and quality, stop that. If this was a Warhammer box, with the amount of stuff you get in it, it would have been twice the price, potentially. Yeah, so not going to be getting 40k or AOS style minis for the price. And also, weirdly, separate legs. This is something that pops up a couple times. Is it here? No, there's no separate... Aha! No, let's just check. Am I being dense? No, this is a duplicate sprue. The vermin seem to be legs, torsos, arms, and heads in one. Let's quickly open this. That opened a lot more easily. So as you can see, legs, torso, arms, and heads. And tails. Really interesting aesthetic for the vermin. More, you know, ray guns and chemical warfare and stuff like that. That's a duplicate for the vermin. So you get 2 sprues by the looks of things for each. Aha! I knew there was one other sprue that had separate legs. Try and get into the bastard thing. Because I can see the time going on a bit, I will be doing separate reviews for each faction in terms of the miniatures. But to continue my point, weirdly there's a whole section. Oh, okay, that's interesting. So you get your sprue for some big rat fellas, and once again a weird little baggie of legs. I don't know what that's all about. Like, obviously you can see from the sprues that there wouldn't really have been much room for the legs, but it's just very odd that you get legs separately. I don't think in fact, no, I'm sure I've never seen that in any other miniatures. You also get not sprues so much as resin miniatures for your characters, I guess. If we take these out. There we go. So, this is my first time looking at Mantic's resins up close as well, actually. So far, so good. Obviously, you're going to need to clean them up, as you will with all resins. So far, I'm impressed. This will be for the GCPS leader, or I think this one counts as a living legend. I think they're called, like your named heroes, your Commissar Gaunts, your Commissar Yarricks, your Marnius Calgars, etc. Gaskell, Old One Eye. You get the point. And the arms, a little bit of flash to clean up here and there, but again, that'll all clean off quite nicely with a brush in warm soapy water, so not too bad. So put that there. You also get a resin character for the vermin. Okay, that was weird. Don't know what that was. I don't know if that was someone knocking. I don't know why. It didn't sound like the door knocking, it just sounded like something else knocking. If it happens again, I will have to check on it, because it might have been the door and my ears are being weird. Leg. Part of a leg? Yeah, part of a leg. And tactical rock, because of course. Hands. I'm not looking forward to cleaning these. That's going to be... I don't know what these are. Are those also claws? I have to look at the instructions. Yeah, claws. They're going to be it. I'm not looking forward to cleaning them. Resin is quite a brittle material, and I do not trust those thin little claws to not snap on me. Torso, much less spindly looking. Still a little bit of flesh. So I think I've literally just removed that with my fingers, so yeah. Most resin cleanup is quite easy. Let's apply this to the vermin side of things. That's just a empty gate, I think they're called, resin gates. That's the head. So you've got upper jaw, lower jaw. Some more flashing on poor chap's head. And I assume... Aha. That's what was on this bit, whatever it's called. These are the arms. Bring these in camera a bit more. So, as you can see from this guy, he's quite chunky. He's big. He's gonna be like probably yay tall. Maybe not quite as big as tall as this box here, but it's gonna be chunky if he goes together correctly without anything breaking. I do not trust that. Because I have heard mixed things about Mantic's resin. I know someone who has assembled Mantic resins in the past who has had nothing but perfect experiences with them. However, I know someone who has had no good experiences with them. Hopefully I am closer towards the latter, or former camp, rather. Excuse me. Anyway, very quickly, because this video is getting on and my phone is running out of battery, let's have a quick look at the sprue, or the terrain sprue, rather. Yeah. I'm a fan of this. I'm really intrigued to see how this goes together. Because if you're not aware of Deadzone or Halo Flashpoint at this point, all of it runs on 3-inch cubes. Therefore, all of the terrain is 3-inch cubes. So let's get some of it open. Here we go. So you can see all of these can go together using these clips. Excuse the shadows. My phone is low battery now, so lighting is not going to be as good. But you can essentially connect all these parts together. So you could potentially connect this bit to this bit, make a building, and maybe have that as the top, have it like a fan, like maybe a electrical building or something. That's your side, and then have one more be your other side / roof, depending on where you wanted to put each part. But it's incredibly modular. I have heard from some people that even though it is modular and you can take it apart, it's better to come up with an idea of what you want to do and then fix it all and glue it together. Which I might do. I'm almost definitely going to have a play around with different parts first, though. This bag, as you can see, comes with different parts as well. Like, you get this sort of barricade, that's the word. Though that's definitely more than 3 inches. It's more like 4 inches. Maybe it'll stretch across multiple cubes, I guess. That's 3 inches, but again, good example of the barricade. Some sort of struts and supports in that bag. It's all got a very nice sci-fi aesthetic to it, which I think is going to work well for Halo, which is honestly the main reason why I bought this box. Because I was originally just going to buy the terrain for Deadzone because it'll work. But then I saw this box going for a really good price, remembered that I had some vouchers, and got it for a good amount cheaper than even the discounted price on the website. So that was useful. So yeah, some cool stuff in here. You also get some ruined terrain pieces. So this is made up of technically multiple sets at this point. Barricades, some blocks. Don't know what they count as. Could use them for objectives, I assume. And whatever this long thing is. Again, you get your connectors. And this comes with some more miscellaneous bits, signs, and so on. Phone's still not up for battery, so let's crack this open. So you get a nice recycling bin. You get a shelf, I guess. So this doesn't This doesn't appear to have the connectors to it, so if you wanted this on any of these walls, just grab that one just off the top, you would probably have to glue this down, or I guess you could magnetize it. Magnetizing it would work too. Maybe don't glue it here, unless you wanted to. Actually, that's quite a cool look to it, actually. Yeah, that's kind of cool, with all the pipes and things in the background. There's that knocking again. I think it might be someone doing DIY. I think someone's doing DIY, which is often something that happens around here at weird times of the day. Because different people live different sorts of lives. So yeah, you get that. Come on. That's going to be the back of your bin. That's fine. I thought that was a door, but I think that's like a vending machine. Yes, because here's another piece, which appears to be some ATM cash machine type thing, even though this is set in the very distant future, to my understanding. You'd think there'd be a cashless society by then. Another thing that you're probably going to have to glue on, there's no connectors here, though this looks like a thing for a roof, so you could easily just place it or magnetize it. This appears to have some connectors to it, so you could have a sign burgers. There we go. Burgers, drinks, fish. Don't know what the fuck that means. Burgers, drinks, and fish. Some odd miscellaneous thing. And the back to your whatever machine you decided. Either an ATM, like so, or a vending machine, like so. I have the Borderlands stretch goals box, or the box of badasses, as it's called, which I think comes with a vending machine. So I'm probably going to make this a ATM. Although I will probably have to check the scale, because I think Borderlands miniatures are going to be a little bit bigger than this, because they're quite chunky. They're more board game stuff than anything else. More signs. These look really cool, actually. I'm looking forward to doing things with them. Come on. A smaller shelf sign, and still one more thing in here, and one more indistinct greebly. Yeah. lots of cool stuff. But seeing as we are going on for 35 minutes, and my phone is at 10% battery now, I'm going to wrap this up. And also I'm losing my voice because I have recorded multiple videos and had a day. Thank you, local council. But yeah, Deadzone. Let's try and get Deadzone. There we go, that'll do. Expect more videos on this. Like I say, I want to do a more in-depth video on how the terrain works, how to assemble it and things like that, and also looking more in depth at the two factions you get in this box, because to my understanding you can buy the two factions separately. They've basically just taken a couple of the terrain sets, obviously the playing mat and the books, and two faction starter sets, mushed them all into one fun little, well, not little, it's quite a chunky box actually. One reasonably sized and also reasonably priced box. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. Like the video, subscribe, do all that stuff if you want to see more, and comment what faction you play / what faction you'd like to see looked at on the channel. Thank you, and ever take words, and as ever, take care of yourselves. Goodbye.